So, to everyone watching live and to everyone joining, watching the replay, in case you don't already know me, my name is Silas Ozoya, and I am privileged to be leading SUBA Capital as the founder and CEO. Um, Today, we're going to be talking mostly to small business owners, but then again, for those that are um, young professionals, do not assume that this doesn't concern you. Let me put it that way. So, um, I believe that every one of us, at some point in our life, we are going to start a business or we are going to do something around building. And that's because as humans, we were designed to build, not just to eat, live, and die. So just give me a moment so that I would share my slide and we can get started. Fantastic. So today I'm going to be sharing about Beyond Pitch Deck, and the thing I want to share around is basically why investors or funders care more about your bank statements than your big idea. People will say, "Oh, I have this fantastic big idea," and all. And some of us get carried away by some of the movies we've seen. Um, Silicon Valley, where people just walk or bump into an investor, pitch an idea, and boom, they get a check. Well, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but the reality of that is there's a lot of background work that happens that goes into that. So the big question before we go ahead today is if an investor asks you for your bank statement in the next 10 minutes, would they be ready? And what would that bank statement say about you? So today, I'm just going to walk you through a 30 minutes practical guide for founders seeking grants, seeking loans, seeking investment. And when I mean founders, I mean people who are founded small businesses. Statistics show that a good number of young professionals have a side hustle. So that's why I said this also applies to young professionals, right? The average banker, the average teacher, anybody that is a professional also has something building on the side. And that's how I started. So, like Sam said, I'm talking from lived experience. As I mentioned, my name is Silas Ozoya, and I'll be the one speaking today. So, people who do not know me already will be wondering, why do I have the audacity or the temerity to speak about um, a topic like this? So here's my journey as a founder and why building credibility through execution really matters. When I left my job in 2019 to start SUBA Capital, I rallied my seed from family and friends. And by the end of 2019, I was able to raise 1.9 million from my family and friends, right? To be able to start SUBA Capital. SUBA Capital was incorporated in March of 2020. You can check the facts, they are there on CAC, right? And in December of 2020, I had gone ahead to win a grant from the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund through the Lagos Innovate Workspace Grant Program in 2020. And basically, what we did was to pitch. We pitched, we competed, and we won. I think we were just about 20 or so people in the first cohort of the Idea Hub program. By 2022, a friend of mine, or somebody that we had worked together professionally, saw what we were building and got interested and gave us an angel investment of 500,000, right? And then there was a UNDP grant that followed, and then there was a CC Hub Edo Innovates grant that followed that was funded by the Gates Foundation. That was up to $20,000. And just a few weeks ago, we have just got AWS Activate credit as a cloud infrastructure grant up to the tune of $24,000. This is why I'm saying, if I'm telling you this thing, I know what I'm saying. I go lie for you. I don't feel lie for you now. So, but my point is, every funder that has given us money at each stage in our business and each stage of our story, they looked beyond the pitch deck. And I'm going to share exactly what those things are. And this is why I'm saying that if we have been able to do it at SUBA Capital, I see no reason why you can't do it in your own small business. So when investors want to invest, they do not invest in ideas alone. They invest in disciplined businesses. So great ideas can attract all of the attention, it can build all the hype, but the execution is what attracts the capital. My family and friends that gave me money in 2019, they gave me that money based on what they have seen me do in previous years. So investors will assess trust, they will assess discipline, they will assess traction, they will assess governance, right? And you are then able to build financial credibility through competitive advantage. So basically, the question is, what do you have that someone else does not have? That's why they are giving you money, to be honest. So the 5 questions every founder wants to get answered is, can this business survive? Because what every investor is looking for, every lender, every grant funder, what they want to know is, if I give this person this money today, would they be able to survive the next 3 months, the next 6 months, the next 1 year, the next 18 months, right? Can the founders of this business manage this money responsibly? We've seen cases where people get funded and their lifestyle change. We've had this conversation on this webinar series before. We've seen situations where people get funded and they go and get married. You see people, different things happen when people receive funding. The next question is, for this business you are pitching to us, where does the revenue come from? Because take, for instance, you come to SUBA Capital and say, oh, my objective of using the SUBA Capital product is so that I'm eligible for a loan. Fine. But where's the revenue going to come from to repay that loan? Big question. So, will my money be safe? Of course, this is a natural fear for everybody, right? If I invest my money into this business, is it safe? Can this business scale? When we talk about scaling, I mean, if you are running one shop, will it grow to 5? If you are running in one state, if you are operating in one state, will it grow to, a national business? Will it grow to a global business, right? SUBA Capital started in Benin City or in Lagos, and today we are present in, we are getting into our 3rd country, right? So can this business scale? Those are some of the things that funders, investors, your family, your friends, those are the questions they want to answer. The next question is, what's on your bank statement? That thing where they say, follow the money, because your bank statement says a lot about you and your financial habits than you know. Your financial record tells a story. Revenue consistency, how often do you make money? How does that work? How does your cash flow get managed? When it comes in, where does it go out to? What's your spending habit as a business owner? Do you mix things up or do you separate things? What's your customer activity like? What's your financial discipline like? How stable is the business? Is it that you are open today and you are not open tomorrow? Is it that you are available online today and I was doing something with someone yesterday, and the person, it was so funny. The person said, whoa, the way you respond and do feedback on how you act on what I've just said is crazy, right? Because if you do not bring that kind of work ethic to your business, how do you build trust? How would that person trust you with their money? This is money we're talking about. So my point is, your behavior says a lot, or your habit says a lot about whether people are going to give you money or not. The next thing I want to talk about is red flags. No, it's not just in relationship you get red flags. You can get red flags in money as well. You can get red flags in business. But most of us are focused on the emotional red flags. This is the real red flag. So here are 5 big red flags that kill access to funding. The common reasons why businesses lose opportunities to either secure any form of funding or get anybody to trust them. Number 1 is mixing personal income or personal finances with your business finances. I've said this before, and some people think it's a joke. SUBA Capital's money is not my money. Silas Ozoya's money is not SUBA Capital's money. They are 2 different separate entities. All right? Excuse me. Right? Silas Ozoya even has become a brand of itself. So much so that Silas Ozoya's money is not actually Silas Ozoya's money. It might sound confusing, but it is what it is. Because the Silas Ozoya Limited is a different entity from Silas Ozoya as the person. So when Silas Ozoya Limited offers growth advisory, consultancy services, sells his books, sells his online courses and all of that, that money belongs to Silas Ozoya Limited and not Silas Ozoya the person. That is how disciplined and precise you should be with your money. And then bookkeeping, record keeping, financial reports. If you don't document it, it didn't happen. It doesn't exist. I was asking somebody not too long ago, all of the money you've been spending for, settling in and all of that, do you have a record for it? It might seem like, it's just 1,000 here, it's just 2,000 here. Come on, it's not that serious. But that is where the real habit starts forming. It's not that serious. It's not that serious. 1,000 becomes 10,000, becomes 100,000, becomes 1,000,000, and becomes 1,000,000,000. It's the same habit. The numbers just changed. When you have unexplained cash withdrawal, you see some people, they look at their bank statement and they scratch their head like, what happened to this money? That's problem. If there are cash withdrawals that you cannot explain, that's a huge red flag to anybody that wants to fund you, support your business, and including for us at SUBA Capital. Inconsistent revenue. So there's money today, there's no money tomorrow. There's money this month, there's no money next month. The person is wondering, so if I invest my money, or if I give you this loan, or if I give you this grant, is this what we're going to be doing? When you're unable to explain key transactions, that becomes a problem. I had an experience myself. So we had filed for the FRS tax filing and all of that. And then we got an email and a follow-up call to say X, Y, and Z transaction. What was it about? Imagine if I did not have proper explanation for those, and then before you know it, the story will be different, because when you mess with the government, it's a different ball game together, right? And now think about investors, funders, lenders, all of that. You have to be able to explain where money is coming from and where it is going to. And that's why narrations are very important. So we have talked about the problem. Let us talk about the solution. So these are the 5 things you should do, or 6 things you should do to separate yourself from the others. Differentiate yourself from the rest of the market, from the masses. So these are practical steps that could improve the ability for you to raise money, either from investors, funders, grant funders, or lenders. First and foremost, you separate your business bank account from your personal bank account, right? No, I do not mean your personal account in a different bank. No, that's not what I mean. I mean, SUBA Capital Limited should have a different account from Silas Ozoya, from Adakwe Kweme, and from Sam. It should all be distinct so that when we look at it, we are able to say this belongs to that person and this belongs to this entity. Number 2, you must maintain accurate bookkeeping. Records will save you we save your business, we save that idea. Vibes and Inshallah wouldn't. And you must be able to produce a monthly management account. I've always told my team and anybody that cares to listen, by the time you follow the numbers, you are able to make precise decision. Every month, even as a person, do this as a practice. Every month, download your bank statement. Your banks do send you statement every month. Most of you just ignore it. Every month, download that bank statement and prepare a management account. Find out, where did my money go to this month? What did I spend on the most? Did I exceed my budget? Did I do this? That management account helps you to make management decisions both for your life and for your business. Fourthly, track your cash flow every month. Don't say, oh, this is a monthly exercise. Maybe pick one Saturday or one Sunday or whatever. Turn off your phone and everything and sit with the numbers and let the numbers guide you. Track your cash flow. Where's money coming from? Right? And this is how business understand which of their services is selling the most, which one is not selling, which one is draining their pocket, which one is costing them more money. And then based on that, you can then build predictable revenue so that you know that you can track. For me, and the SUBA Capital team, we know which of our service and which of our product sells the most. And we know which of our market wants certain kinds of product and service the most. And we are building in that direction. And while you are at it, make sure to document this entire process. Because like I said earlier, if it is not written down, it didn't happen. It's just a figment of your imagination. So, when I mentioned earlier the different kinds of funding we had assessed, I said I was going to tell you exactly when they looked beyond the pitch deck, why they did. So different funders want different evidence. So you want to be able to tailor your pitch deck and your story and your application to be able to approach the different funders and meet them exactly where they are. When it comes to family and friends, what they are looking for is trust. Can I trust this guy with my money? Because as at 2019, when I was sharing the idea of SUBA Capital did not exist. It was all a figment of my imagination. It was all an idea to me, right? But because, like I said, they can trust me based on evidence of things I have done before. I've started building businesses since 2010. I had built 2 businesses prior to that. So they know exactly what I'm capable of. When it comes to grant funders, they want to see, excuse me, they want to see what social impact is your product or your service making, right? The design is fine. The website is fantastic. Your story is good. But how is it helping people? Take, for instance, at SUBA Capital, there are 3 core things there are 3 core impact touch points for us: poverty reduction, hunger reduction, economic empowerment through job creation. And this particular webinar you're watching right now is part of that impact that we're creating in the world beyond our product and services. So where we then tell grant funders, for instance, that beyond just offering a technology product and offering a microfinance service, we are also teaching people about financial literacy. It makes sense, right? The other thing they want to look at is compliance. Are you compliant with the government? Are you incorporated? Most of you think you are doing business. No, you're not. Because you sell something and people pay money into your personal account, you think you are not in business, you are trading. Even the trading is illegal, to be honest. Because you're not compliant, you're not incorporated with the government, you don't pay your taxes, you don't file your annual returns and everything. So how is a grant funder supposed to trust you with money? For lenders, what they are looking at is repayment capacity. Can you repay? I alluded to this earlier when I said they're going to look at your bank statement and look at your revenue flow, your cash flow, your income, and all of that. And like I said, this doesn't just apply to businesses, it also applies to you as a person. Are you able to build that credibility to repay? And when it then comes to investors, why it is good to make the headlines to say we've raised X amount of money, oh, we're on, Tech Cabal, we are on one big newspaper, we're on Forbes and all of that. Is there indication that this business is going to grow? Is there indication that we're going to get our returns? Those are the two different things that investors are looking for, whether they are angel investors, whether they are angel networks, whether they are venture capitalists. They are not just throwing the money at you. They are looking for it to grow and for it to come back. So the different funding sources require different kinds of evidence. It's not the same evidence or, one size fits all. It then depends on who you are talking to and why, and tailor your evidence in that direction. So it's beyond just slapping a pitch deck in the attachment area of your email and say, give me some money. So at SUBA Capital, here is what we would look at as a small business. If you come on our platform, for instance, to say, I'm a small business, I want to start maybe a business investment subscription with you at SUBA Capital. These are some of the things we would look at on our end. Number one, do you have a dedicated business account? So if you say you're a business owner, you're on SUBA Capital, and the reason why you are transacting with us is because you want to be able to access some form of capital for your business, do you have a dedicated business account? Is the business account separate from your personal account? So is your personal spending and your business spending different? Because I do not want to see you buying air freshener for your room from your business account, or buying some bathing soap for yourself from your business account, or vice versa, right? Do you know your monthly revenue and expenses? Have you prepared management account in the last 3 months, in the last 6 months? Do you understand your cash flow? How much cash flow do you have, and how far can it carry you, or what we call runway, right? And do you have relationships before asking for this capital? Because obviously we're going to ask you to bring at least 2 guarantors to guarantee that you're going to repay us the money, because we're lending you people's money. We're just basically managers who take thrift savings and investment savings and then lend it out. So if you then take the money and we are not able to identify whether you are going to pay it back, no, sir, we're not giving you the money. No, ma. Thank you. Okay. So for us, this is our own checklist. Go back as an exercise and ask yourself, if you can answer these questions correctly, you might be on the path. Okay. So as I wrap up, I will tell you that capital follows clarity. So it's not just hype. It's not just I have this idea. It's not just, oh, I'm very passionate about, dodo, which I am. And I'm going to start a business around, dodo and fried plantain. Beyond that, can you answer all of the questions I asked earlier? So your pitch deck can open the door, but your financial record is what would close the deal. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll take your questions now. I've been seeing the chatbot busy, but let's take your questions.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Silas. And as the lawyers will say, I like your closing argument that your pitch deck would bring you inside the door, but your financial statement is what will secure the deal. That's a very strong closing statement. Thank you very much. And for me personally, I liked that you removed all the fluff of theories and you were just asking basic questions that a business person would sit down and then reflect and then see how he can then relate it to his own business. Oh, this question, how am I doing it in my own business? So I like the style that you used today. So thank you very much for question in the chat box, or you could raise your hand. And then I'm very sure Mr. Salas is capable. But before that, me, I have question. I always come prepared. Even
Go
though
ahead.
one of my questions you have answered, you over prepare, come. But there's no problem.
Go
So
ahead.
my first question is, if they cannot afford the services of an accountant, right, or a CFO, because as we all know, small business. So what are some affordable tools or some things that they can put in place that can help build an audit-ready structure for when investment grants will start coming in. So what are some tools and that they can put in place?
Okay, so a lot of people make the mistake of thinking that when it comes to running a small business and raising capital or accessing capital for that small business, it has to be perfect. It doesn't. Excel sheet, Google sheet, as simple as very basic as that, right? Like I said, your bank would send you a statement every other month, and you can convert that into an Excel sheet. You take a cue from your business study class: credit here, debit here. Put all of the credit in the credit column, put all of the debit in the debit column, put a formula at the bottom, and it solves the problem for you, right? Every single Windows or Mac computer right now has access to an Excel. That is, you don't need an accountant to start that. You don't need a CFO or a CFA to do all of that, right? It's just the sheer discipline of you keeping records and tracking your expenses and tracking your budget. That's what is going to put you ahead of a lot of other people.
Oh, thank you for that. I like that you gave the example of using something as simple as Excel and Google Sheets. And then while you were even speaking, I was just thinking, right? Most of these things are just basic knowledge. Even if you don't know how to do it,
Mm.
there are short courses that you can take online, because one thing that small business owners need to understand is that at that stage you are the everything. You are the marketer, you are the accountant, you are the business growth manager, you are the salt, you are the pepper, you are the everything.
See,
So
that's what
before
it
the,
means to that's what it means to run a small business, right?
yeah.
And
So
may I add that when you pitch a small business or a business idea, you're not just pitching it to investors or funders. You're also pitching it to the people you expect to work with you in that business, right? Take you, for instance, you came in contact with SUBA Capital in 2021 or so, and you've been working at SUBA Capital since then, for the last 5 years or so, because you've seen something that you believe in and you can hold on to. You've seen results. We are now about 11 on the team that just started from just me. If you get what I'm saying, right? We're 11 on the team, and by the end of this month, it will be way more than that, right? So it's not just, again, it comes down to that issue of pitching your family, pitching your friends. If the closest people around you do not believe and trust in what you are doing, how would total strangers believe you then? People that don't know you from Adam, how would they then part with their money and give it to you? I don't know if that logic makes sense.
yes. So thank you for that. As I was saying, so like you are the everything in your business. You can take short courses online, basic accounting courses, basic business management courses, and some of these things are inside there. So you could just use it, upskill yourself, and you can help your business. So if let me check the chat box. Okay. So please, guys, if you have any comments, if you want to share in the next 2 minutes, maybe you want to share an experience, you have a difficulty you want to ask, or please, you could just easily raise up your hand. Okay, I think we have one. Peace, Ibe. You can unmute and ask your question.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Mr. Silas. Good afternoon. Thank you again for always giving us amazing sessions, even though I joined a bit late. But thank you so much, sir. So I have a question, because I saw like a few days ago, this brand, they said they were packing up and they're closing like their local market. So my question is, if you're like advising a small business owner right now, like what foundational systems and structure would you recommend that they implement from day one? So first, to serve like their local market effectively, but also building a business, like also thinking like global in mind, like a business that can eventually scale globally. So yeah, that's my question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I would answer that question in two ways. One, I would say a very direct answer. Whoever is building a business must build a business with an open mind. Business growth is very fluid. It takes different shape and different form at every point of the business. The second half I will answer the question with is a funny story of SUBA Capital. Again, SUBA, like Sam said earlier, it's my own lived experience. So SUBA Capital started. The idea was to have just about 250 people in a WhatsApp group. It's a very funny story, right? And that's because I had watched my mom and her friends and her colleagues. The only technology they could operate, or they still can operate at this point, is WhatsApp. And they just form a group and they form this Ajo and Osusu inside the WhatsApp group, and they are able to raise over 20 million every year in pooled capital that they are able to access. And I thought to myself, fantastic, I can just start a group of maximum of 250 people, and we can then be pulling 5,000 naira every month as a contribution, and then we can assess that as pooled capital. It is more affordable, it's more accessible, it's more sustainable. And then we piloted the idea in 2019 into 2020, and boom, 421 people participated in the pilot of SUBA Capital, exceeding the 250 mark. So what should I do? Should I say, oh no, it's full now, everybody go back, go back, go back? We are not doing it again. The goal was 250 people. No. And that was when it dawned on me that you've just gone into technology as a product manager. This is a sign that you should build a product around this service because the demand is higher than what you had anticipated. And that's where the flexibility comes in. And that's how we then started talking to ourselves, okay, we're going to pool capital together and we're going to build a website. We're going to integrate a payment platform onto it. And then we're going to take our conversation away from WhatsApp chat to then using automated payments and all. Long story short, this is where we are today, right? So as a business owner, whether small business or medium business or growing business or global business, whatever it is, you want to be able to serve your immediate local people. For me, it was my immediate WhatsApp group, my WhatsApp list, right? The first set of people that came on SUBA Capital's pilot all came from my contact list. In fact, nearly 90% of them came from my contact list on WhatsApp, right? And that's how we got started. Then, which was for me, my immediate local environment. And then we started building from there. And today we have nearly 2,000 people registered on the platform. So that's where it is. And then when the business started to expand globally, to be honest, I would vulnerably accept the fact that I thought that financial exclusion was a Nigerian and an African problem, only to later find that it's a global epidemic, right? And when we found out that financial exclusion is a global problem, we'll not say, oh no, our idea is strictly Nigeria limited. We're not going to build for other clients. No, we just took that same idea, look at what's working in that market, evolved, and started building for that market. So today, SUBA Capital has a commercial lending brokerage in the UK and has a microfinance business in Nigeria. It's the same financial solution in two different markets, approaching the same problem from different angles. So small business owners should be able to create that flexibility and fluidity when it comes to growth and expansion and scale. I hope I've been able to answer that question.
Yes, sir, you have. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Peace, for that question, and thank you, Mr. Salas, for that response. I believe that a lot of us are, I think we are now well equipped, and this is knowledge that I believe prospective business founders and current business founders need to have, because it is a play just like Peace said. You just see a startup, oh, they've gotten grant, or after like a period of time,
Yeah.
they're closed, and that's, I think there's a question in the, let me read that. So these are some
Yeah.
of the
Okay.
challenges. Okay, so thank you. I am Abdul Mahim Okbemi. I run a digital micro lending service. I run a digital micro lending company service for traders and artisans in rural communities in Ogun. And we just expanded to Lagos with our office in Ogun. 50 plus active borrowers, over 300 loans issued, 400,000 plus monthly disbursements, money lenders and corporate license for PV enrollment. We need working capital to scale borrowers. Can we get from SUBA Capital?
So we are not a liquidity provider, right? Abdul, we are not a liquidity provider. We are also a microfinance business, just like yourself. Um, I would rather you approach, liquidity providers who would be able to provide liquidity. I think some of the things I have shared in this session today should give you an idea on how you should approach your liquidity providers to say, this is, what we do, and this is how we do it. This is the cash flow, but all of the things, answer all of those questions I've talked about today, and start pitching, start talking to them. Don't keep quiet, right? Show them the impact that you are making in those communities. Show them the jobs you are creating, the poverty you are reducing, measurable with numbers. And that way, those liquidity providers would be able to somehow provide you with capital and liquidity to fund your lending business. I know people will be like, oh, but you are also in the lending business. Why are you talking to another lending business? There are 80 million people who are financially excluded in Nigeria. I am not crazy enough to say SUBA Capital will solve the problem for all of them. So, big man, go ahead, take all of the lessons from today's session and start approaching liquidity providers. I hope I've been able to answer your question.